to Tabletop CP, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a bolt action version 3 event I will be attending next month. And I'm going to be looking at some of the lists that I potentially could take to this and a little bit about the tournament. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first of all, the tournament is taking place at the VetCon Gaming Convention in Auburn, California on Veterans Day weekend. The tournament itself is going to be on a Saturday, so if you're in Northern California and you want to attend a version 3 bolt action event, then check out the VetCon Gaming Convention. So this tournament is billed as a friendly tournament. It's not designed to be uber competitive, so I'm going to be approaching my list that way. I'm not a big competitive bolt action guy in general. I try to keep things fairly historic. But that being said, historic lists doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be good, they can't be competitive. Mainly it just means you're sticking to the theme of the theater that you're fighting in, the time of the war. You're using the weapons that were available to those units at that time. So they can be very competitive, or they could not be. So I'm trying to mix it up as best I can, keep it historical, but also put something out that's decent, that's good, that has a chance to win. I'm not going to try to dominate the tournament. I'm going in the spirit of the tournament, friendly, and keeping it historical. This tournament is 3 games, 2.5 hours per game, 1,250 points. There is a 4 platoon max and a 20 order dice max. So I did not want to approach 20 order dice at all. I'm keeping it as low as I can by bringing bigger units, more expensive stuff. I don't want to play with 20 order dice. I think that's a lot of order dice for me personally. I know other people can probably get through those, but I think I would have a hard time. So I'm going to try to keep my dice count low. So a lot of these platoons are built very similar to each other, structure-wise, but they are all a little bit different. Different armies within the same army. You got Germans and Americans, but even within those there's some variation. So the idea is normal amount of dice, bigger squads, more upgrades to try to keep that dice count low, because with 1,250 points you could get to 20 order dice pretty quick. So I want to keep it low and keep it historic. So what we'll do is we'll look through these 4. I did make 4 different ones just because I've had an experience in the past, had a tournament where I went over my list in detail before the tournament and it didn't work out well for me. Everyone knew what I had, everyone knew what I was bringing, and I did not do well at that tournament. So just to give myself options and keep everyone guessing, I'm going to show 4 different options that I might bring. So we'll just start with the Germans. Alright, so list number 1 for the Germans is a veteran SS list. So I wanted to try one of these platoons out as veterans. So pretty much every single thing in this list is veteran, except for the light howitzer and the Pak 40. Other than that, everything is vet. All the squads, the 4 squads, are going to have fanatic as well. So starting out here, we have our platoon commander for our rifle platoon, 3 guys, SMGs. And then to round out the rifle platoon, we have our 2 mandatory squads. These are identical squads, 8 guys, LMG, 1 Panzerfaust each. Used to always bring 2, but since the price increase, I bumped that down to 1. But I still want to have at least 1 Panzerfaust in every German squad just because they're amazing. They're a great deterrent for enemy armor, and they can now do damage to units and buildings. So still worth bringing at least 1, I think, for every squad. So we have the 2 squads for our base rifle platoon, LMG, 3 SMGs, or I'm sorry, 3 assault rifles, and the rest are rifles. So 2 of those, and we have a 3rd one of those as well, same exact setup. And then our 4th squad is going to be 8 guys, dual LMG, and an SMG sergeant. So that's our base infantry platoon. We're also going to be bringing a captain, and you'll notice that in all of my lists I brought a captain just because in my limited experience so far in version 3, captains are amazing. Well worth the points. They're a lot cheaper now as well, but they can do a lot. They really buff your whole army, and it's a huge upgrade, I think, to bring a captain. So I brought 1 for every one of these platoons. So that is our rifle platoon, our captain, and our last 2 platoons in this company are going to be a heavy weapons platoon. So we have a 3-man platoon commander with SMGs, MG42, and medium mortar with spotter. And then we're going to be bringing an artillery platoon, the only list The only one of these 4 lists that has an artillery platoon in it and is going to have a Pack 40 and the light howitzer, as well as the platoon command team with 3 SMGs. So I did think about bringing in a Nebelwerfer. I do have an SS Nebelwerfer, and I might tinker with it a little bit, just because I think it might be fun to bring the Nebelwerfer out. But for now, we're going to be running the light howitzer. This platoon, the idea, we have a bunch of fanatic veteran infantry. These guys are going to be great at holding objectives. They're going to be hard to dislodge, especially if they're in cover. They're really tough to deal with the cover saves now, even more so than they were in version 2, just being pure vets. But they're going to have all their Panzerfaust, and then my other AT is going to come from the Pack 40, which is going to have to be well positioned to take advantage of cover, get the best lines of sight, but also try to stay out of the firing range of other enemy weapons, because it's going to be a high priority target. Then the heavy weapons platoon, and wanting to try to keep the platoon commander near these guys so we can activate them both. That's not always going to work out, just based on how the board is and where objectives are and everything, but ideally, if you could keep your platoon command teams near their platoons to activate them, especially the Germans with all their extra snap 2s, that would be ideal. But we'll see how it goes. But pretty much it's going to be, these guys are going to hold objectives, they're going to storm objectives, they're going to take them, and you're not going to be able to get them off. Pack 40 is going to provide long range firepower, and we got 2-inch templates out there dropping down on any enemies that might be themselves in cover. So we'll see how this goes. That's the SS platoon. I guess I should mention that this is 1,246 points with 12 order dice. And next we just have our German Grenadier platoon. So very similar to the other platoon, the other German platoon, with the addition of a armor platoon instead of a artillery platoon. So this is 1,250 points dead on with 13 order dice. And everything in this list is going to be regular. So we have our platoon commander with our assault rifles. So if you can take them, they're great, especially for free on the platoon command teams. And we're going to have 4 here squads. These 3 are identical, 1 LMG, a bunch of rifles, and then an SMG sergeant with 1 Panzerfaust. This is going to be a 9-man, these are all 8. This is a 9-man squad with 2 LMGs in it. Again, they all have a Panzerfaust just because Panzerfausts are good still. So I want them to be able to deal with armor and be a deterrent just in themselves to enemy armor, or any enemy vehicles that might get close to them might have to think twice about it. So again, we got our captain. They have assault rifles as well, and we're also going to be bringing as part of the platoon command team a sniper team. So sniper in this one, he's going to be there to deal with enemy spotters mainly, and enemy snipers, and of course enemy captains or enemy officers. So snipers, they are different. I still think they're just as good as they were. With that +1 to wound, they might be even better. So definitely a sniper in there. Then our last 2 platoons, we're going to have another heavy weapons platoon. We got a 3-man command team with SMGs. And we're going to have 3 different units. We're going to have 2 MG42s and a heavy mortar with spotter. So the MG42s are amazing. They have extra shots, they got long range, they can put out some fire, they're good, and they should be able to hold flanks down pretty well by themselves. Heavy mortar, of course, is always great, especially with the spotter. Putting out a 3-inch template, that's a big deterrent right there for anyone wanting to camp out. And last, we're going to have our armor platoon with the command vehicle is going to be this Wirbelwind. So I had to bring the Wirbelwind. It's really good in the game. So it's going to have like 8 1-inch templates. It's easier to hit now in version 3. And the template placement has changed a little bit. You don't have to connect them anymore. So you can just maximize hits with those 1-inch templates and squads however you want. So this thing should be pretty deadly. It is open top, so it could take pins. And it is going to be a huge target for every enemy anti-tank weapon on the board. So it's going to have to be placed in cover. It's going to have to be played smart. But it's going to scare the hell out of the opponent. And it's going to get some shots off, I hope, and do some damage. Its main job, I think, is going to be taking out enemy infantry, as bolt action's still an infantry game. And you need infantry to win. So he's going to be focusing on infantry. If I can possibly take out a light armored vehicle or some soft skins with infantry in it, I'll go for those. But His main job is going to be to wipe out enemy squads and teams. And last we're going to have the Stummel. I know there are different scales. Sorry about that. That's just how it worked out. But we have the Stummel, and this is going to be carrying one of these squads around in it. So 8 guys. It's the 8-man capacity Stummel, and possibly outflank with it. It's got a light howitzer on it. So in itself, it's a decent vehicle. And when you put a squad of grenadiers in it, coming in from the outflank or in from reserve in the right spot, it could be a game changer. I've used it before, and that was back in the day when I brought Durhammer, which was my awesome engineer squad. That's kind of a thing of the past now with the new platoon structure, as I'd have to pretty much bring 2 Durhammers to bring 1 and a platooner. So it's going to take a little bit of work to get Durhammer back on the board, but it can be done. But I wanted to keep it simple for this one, so we're just going to bring the Stummel with the regular grenadier squad in it. And that's it for this German platoon. So over here we have our first of the 2 American platoons. This is a USMC platoon. This is 1,249 points with 14 order dice. And here everything is regular as well. So we got our platoon commander here, 3 guys, SMGs. And then we have 3 different USMC squads. These guys are not going to be upgraded to stubborn, they're just regular guys. So it took me a little bit of finagling to get the points and everything how I needed, just based on what models I had. I didn't quite have enough to field everything how I wanted it. But this is what I wound up with. So I got 1 platoon, they're all 10 guys I believe, all 4 of the squads. So we have one squad's going to have 3 shotguns in it. First I had them dispersed, but I thought, why not just put them all in one squad? It could be my assault squad, because assault shotguns are basically assault rifle, one-shot assault rifles. That's what they are. They're assault weapons with 18-inch range. So not bad. So we're going to have 3 of those in the squad with 1 BAR and then an SMG sergeant. So these guys are going to be my get up close as fast as I can guys. If I had some points I would have brought a transport, but they're going to have to just hoof it. And then we have another squad here. It's got 3 BARs in it, and I'm trying to maximize the number of rifles to get as many extra shots as I can for the new American fire and maneuver rule. And I did have 2 BARs in every squad, but I decided I'd put 3 in here. So we're going to have 3 BARs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rifles. That'll give me 2 extra shots and an SMG sergeant. And these last 2 squads are going to be the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I guess I do have 2 BARs in these squads. Yep, okay. I do have 2 BARs. So I got 6 rifles, 2 BARs, 7 rifles and 2 BARs, and an SMG sergeant. So, I mean, these aren't optimized at all. I could probably work on them some more, maybe change things around. But honestly, I don't have a lot of USMC models. If I had more rifles, I would do that. And when we see the American Army list, where I have a lot more guys, you'll see a more optimized platoon for that fire maneuver rule. But it's kind of ragtag setup here for the Marines, but I think they'll do okay. So we got the squads, we got the platoon commander, we have our obligatory captain over here. They're going to have rifles this time. And then as part of this infantry platoon, we're going to have a sniper, and a bazooka, and a jeep. So I just brought this guy just for some extra AT. He's going to be mobile. Bringing a jeep for bazookas is always great. You can bring him in from reserve once you find out where the enemy armor is, and you can threaten them a lot faster. And it's a big fire magnet as well. When the enemy has armor and they see this guy come on, they're going to go after him. So you got to be careful with the bazooka and the jeep, especially now with the changes to soft skins. So that's the infantry platoon and the captain. Another heavy weapons platoon here, rifles on these guys, and then we're going to have a heavy machine gun. So I know it's modeled as a medium, but I paid the points, so I'm going to upgrade it to heavy just because heavy machine guns are amazing. And then a medium mortar with spotter. And last up is going to be our rifle platoon, our armor platoon. We're just going to be bringing just a regular bog standard Sherman with the medium AT gun, 2-inch template though. And then we're going to be bringing this LVTA 4, I believe it is. And it is an open-topped 7+ armor with a light howitzer, and it has a 50 cal that comes with it. So 50 cal is only 3 shots on this thing, but still it's 48-inch range plus 1 pen, so it can still reach out and do a little something. So that is the USMC platoon. This is pretty much the most ragtag of all the platoons I have, just based on what models I had. But they are Marines, and I think that if played right, this could be an effective platoon. And last we have our US Army platoon, and this is 1,245 points with 11 order dice. Couldn't quite get to 1,250 even. I didn't know quite what to do with that last 5 points. I had to do some refinagling quite a bit because I had some of these squads as inexperienced. And then I realized my mistake, and I went back and I was way over, so I had to drop a bunch of stuff. I wound up having to drop one guy out of each squad, so I wasn't able to bring 4 12-man squads like I wanted. But that's okay. We're still going to get the extra shots. It's 1 extra shot per every 3 rifles. So I have at least 9 riflemen in every squad, which is going to give me 3 extra shots. But first off, we have our platoon commander here. Everything in this list is regular, by the way. Platoon commander, 3 guys with SMGs. We have our 4 squads. 1 is going to be a full 12-man squad. The rest are going to be 11-man squads. But again, I have 9 rifles at least. I have in every squad except this one. I have 10 rifles. But that's going to give me more shots. So it's going to give me 9, 10, 11, 12 rifle shots as long as they're all alive. And then I'm going to also have 1 BAR in every squad as well. And then the SMG sergeant. So pretty solid, big American squads rolling in. The different fire maneuver rule now is not as good, I don't think. I'd rather not have a penalty for moving than get an extra shot, but I understand why they did it. So we got our base platoon there, and then we're going to have, of course, the captain. We're going to have SMG captain team here. We're going to have a heavy weapons platoon, and platoon commander, 2 guys with rifles. HMG, of course. I mean, that's just an auto thing for me now. If I can upgrade for 20 points to an HMG, I will, just because it's that much better. You're getting more range, another 12-inch to your range, and a +1 penetration modifier, and 6 shots. So super good, definitely worth the 20 points. In the games we've seen them in, they've always done very well. But I expect them to be a huge target in the future once people start learning about how good they are. You're going to see the HMG teams get targeted by mortars and snipers and everything else you can think of until they're gone. So that's the HMG. We're also bringing a medium mortar with spotter. And then for our final platoon, it's an armor platoon. And we're going to be 2 Shermans. We're bringing the 105 Sherman as the platoon command vehicle. And then we're going to bring a 76 mil Sherman as his partner on the table. So this platoon basically has 1 AT weapon in it, and that's this tank gun. The howitzer can do something. It can put pins on enemy armor. If lucky, it may be able to get a penetrating hit on it if you can hit it from behind or the side and it's not a heavier tank. But mainly it's going to be that 76 mil Sherman doing all the work on the enemy armor. It's also got a 2-inch template. Overall, it's a decent vehicle, a lot of machine guns. Shermans are just pretty good in this, I think. And then just your bog standard bunch of American infantry. They always do good. I've never had a problem with bringing big squads of infantry of any nation really in bolt action. So this is our big infantry platoon with big squads that I wanted to try out. And that's all 4 of my platoons. So the next thing I want to do is I want to hope to get at least 1 practice game in. So they'll probably fight each other. I would like to get 2 practice games where I can get someone at least playing all 4 of these. So me and whoever I play with 2 games, we could get all 4 of these platoons tested out and then just kind of go through and see maybe who did the best, maybe do a little tweaking after that, add some stuff, change some stuff. I don't know. That's what the play testing's for. So hopefully I get at least 1 of those in. Hopefully 2 would be even better. That's the list. If you have any suggestions for changes or advice on maybe optimizing these or tweaking them without changing them too much, I would like to hear your opinion on that. And I look forward to the tournament. Like I said, I haven't been to a tournament in many years, so I saw this one. I thought, you know what, it's V3. It's time to get back into it and just get back out there and start playing again. So thanks to the guys who are putting on the tournament, first of all. I look forward to going. And again, if you're in Northern California Veterans Day weekend, maybe stop by and check it out. So Let me know what you think about these armies, and we'll see you guys later.